So I've mentioned this army a few times, but I don't think I've actually done a full video on it before. Now, this is Halfling Pete's Praetorian army, although I suppose we could call him Praetorian Pete while we're looking at this particular army, and this generally stays in my house, mainly because I was painting some of these and he hasn't been here since. So let's have a closer look at some of these, shall we? Now, we had this army commission painted many years ago. It did take the person painting it a very long time to actually get them back to him, so I don't think he actually got to use the full painted army back when we used to play a lot of 40k, around about the year 2000-ish, I think it was. Could have been a little bit later, but the majority of the force was painted by that commission painter, although every model in this army does have at least some of my brush strokes on it. Some of them are entirely done by me. For example, this cavalry unit over here, they're 100% my work. These heavy weapons, the bases at least, are 100% my work, and random troopers were done by me as well, but I'm not entirely sure which ones, because the state this army was in when it got to me, it was a little bit inconsistent. Most of these models were pretty much complete. Some of them weren't based, which is why some of the bases don't match up perfectly, because the exact flock colour that I use is a little bit different from the one that was used previously. But then some of them were based but weren't actually finished. So it's very, very strange, and it's hard for me to keep track of exactly what I did on each model. The one thing I definitely did was varnish all of them. They're all 100% metal, obviously, the old classic Praetorians, so I did a layer of gloss varnish and a layer of matte varnish on every single model. And some of them are magnetised. For example, the heavy weapon teams are magnetised to these round bases that I made for them. Not particularly strong magnets, but it should just hold them in place during play. They're not going to fall over. One thing I never understood, the guy that painted the bulk of the army originally did one squad in a kind of brown uniform rather than red. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. There is a lot of special weapons scattered throughout here. There might even be too many special weapons to make it into a legal army using every single model. A lot of heavy weapons. I'm not sure on the exact army composition of the Imperial Guard, or the Astra Militarum, as they're now called. So I don't know how much tweaking would have to be done to get this into a usable army on the tabletop now, in the current rules. I think the command models are very, very cool. There's a couple of very tasty looking ones, the Commissar, and a couple of the higher ranking miniatures, and of course that nice flag as well. If we look here, for instance, you can see that some of the sand on the bases is darker than other models, so those are the ones that I've based. But it's very, very difficult to tell which ones I've actually painted, because I've tried to match very closely the existing models, and I think I've done a pretty good job. It's not very easy to distinguish between the ones that I've painted and the ones that were done previously. I very much like the cavalry, especially that guy on the end there who's about to throw a grenade with the white beard. I think he looks very cool. So there you have it. It's a decent sized force, and this army does actually have a lot of tanks with it as well, but there's nothing particularly Praetorian about them, so I didn't bother including them in this video. And there are also a couple of bags of additional Praetorian troops, which are unpainted at the moment. Let's just have a scan of the ranks now. As you can see, lots and lots of troops. Very, very tasty indeed.